Hello everyone, it's Yulianna Avdeeva here. It's 7:30 in Central Europe and it's Thursday, so it's time for our weekly stream. And today we are moving to a new key of glory, as it was called during the Baroque time, D major. The key is D, and today we are moving to the D Major Prelude and Fugue by Johann Sebastian Bach from Book I. And after that, I thought it would be a great occasion also to discuss one of the most wonderful preludes by Sergei Rachmaninov, D Major Prelude from Opus 23. So hello everyone, hello Maria, hello Dana, hi Lars, Yakiko and Gerchev and Alex, and Cristiano and Carolina, Alexis, hello everyone, it's great to see you here, hello Dario. So the key of glory, D major. Apparently the explanation for this was, first of all, that as the trumpets at the Baroque time, hello Raul, hello Jakub, and Roberto, the D major was the tone where how the trumpets used to be tuned in, so they were also very often used for special occasions, some kind of festive events. And D, of course, is also a key which is very often appearing in violin or string music, and there are quite many great pieces. Well, many violin concertos were also composed in D major, and I think this tonality indeed has some also very special color. Hello Roberto, hello to Catalonia, to Horti, hello to Topol, and Marcus and Marco. So hello Daniel, hello Alan. So D has a special color. It already has a kind of meaning which gives us a feeling of some special mood, some good, great, grand mood in a way. And it is interesting that the Prelude and Fugue in D major from Book I, for me, it has something. It is, well, the character of the prelude is very joyful. It's like a, in a way, it's like a sunny day which you enjoy, and the movement of the 16 notes in the right hand is in a way perpetuum mobile, so it is always moving, but at the same time it has also has some somehow also unexpected movement. It's always going to a certain direction with some curves, like, you know, driving a car in the mountains, I would say, because it's like a never-ending road, with some direction changes. And yeah, it's a very light piece, very it doesn't have any, it's just one, I think, for me personally, there is only one spot where it comes to a kind of a little bit darker mood. I would not even call it dark, but it's like a, you know, when you have a sunny day and suddenly a cloud comes and the shadow is appearing in a very, very quick manner. And this is this one certain place in where Bach modulates to E and B minor. So hello to Taiwan and Claudio from Mexico, and Johannes to Cologne, to Köln. Hello Maria, and hello to Luis in Bolivia, and good morning in Australia. That's really quite early there now. So thanks a lot for joining. Great to see you here. Marco, yes, about the colors of tonalities, it is not so, it is a little bit difficult. I was already thinking which kind of color, indeed, a color the D major could have. For me, it is something bright. It has something, maybe some kind of orange, I think. Well, what is your feeling? Do you have any it's. Do you have any? Yeah, just visual imagination. What kind of color D major could be? Hello to Malaysia and sorry, Malaysia, of course. Well, the prelude is quite clear in its very joyful mood. Roberto, yellow, yeah, it might be, but for me, yellow is more E major, to be honest, because D has something warm. D major has something warm for me, and E major is just light. So this is my personal feeling. Alan Royce is saying royal blue. Why not? Yes, well, it's also a interesting option. Hello, Wesley. It's great that you woke up for our stream. Nice to see you here. And hello to Yuichi in Osaka. Well, so yes, but maybe let me just give you a little example how different the prelude starts in D major like this. Right, so this is the tonality which Bach have chosen for this prelude. But if we would take it, let's say, in E major, it has for me already a completely different character. It is much more sharp. That's why I'm saying that E major for me is more yellow. But if we would go to C sharp major, this sounds more round. So I think that indeed I had also recently quite exciting conversation with a friend of mine who is not a musician about the meaning of colors, and I think that it's really audible, the difference in the character of the piece when it comes to the choice of tonality. So for me, it's I'm absolutely convinced that that the choice of tonality by a composer gives us already a clear direction about the character of the piece. Hello, Mehmet. Hello to Peru. Marina is saying that for Marina, you're saying that D major is also yellow. Yes, but this is something what I really enjoy about music, that it's very subjective. There are so many space for, or so much room for really personal opinion, for personal observation. It's I think that makes music so unique, also comparing to other arts, because it's if you see let's say a great painting, you still, of course, you imagine, or you see something, everybody will see something different there, something personal, but still you have a real link of what the painter has left for us. And in music, it's just your imagination, it's your feeling, your mood also, because sometimes I'm sure that also comparing to the mood of today, I don't know, maybe weather or just general condition, you also perceive music in a different way. So the perception can also depend on, I mean, it can change every day, and this is what I find so exciting about music. Hello, Regula, and hello, Christian, to Romania, and Kenneth, and Clay, and Masakov from California. Yes, so it is. Jakub, yes, I also think that it's sometimes it's a mixture of colors. So, however, the prelude is in D major, and I think that yes, it's in a way it is a kind of very glorious, warm tonality. Hey, hello, Bill, and hello, Johnny. Well, Johnny is also for the blue color. Well, it's very, very different in according to our personality. So I think that's so exciting. Hello, Ika to Krakow. So the fugue here is the D major fugue is something also it stands also a little bit apart of other fugues by Bach, because actually it's one of these rare fugues in the Well-Tempered Clavier where Bach it's more like a fantasy. It's not only the let's say the real fugue. Of course, I will explain why, because there is what makes this fugue so unique is, first of all, it has an amazing energy in the subject, and this is this. So we have this 30 seconds, which are very, very rapid, very energetic element. And already in this element we have this jump. So now I'm coming to this special point also about this fugue. So-called double dots here. So the style in which this fugue is composed is so-called French overture style. So it means that those 30 seconds, those very small notes, are combined in elements with the notes which are dotted. So this is what I mean. Dum da dum da dum. So basically, dim da dim ba bam diram. What is written, the way Bach notates this, is actually, if I would read it correct, that would be but that was not apparently, according to several sources of musicians also living by that time, or some documents left by the composers from that time, that was not the way this kind of music was played. So basically the idea is to achieve the most majestic, the most grand, glorious effect. And for that, it was actually a rule that the dotted note, so the long one, is being prolonged, and the notes which are followed after this prolonged long dotted note are played as rapid, as quick as possible to achieve this great effect. So I think this is what I also know from the piece, another wonderful French piece by Bach, which is French Overture, which is also consisting of those small value notes. So I think there is, for me personally, there is indeed a much more expression. This is what I feel when I played really, when I prolong the dotted notes and play the small notes also here. Shorter, it gives, I feel it like it would give a grander, somehow grander character. It's much more proud. So, so this element, this 30-second element, is coming throughout, actually in almost every bar except the last 3 bars. In every bar, it's a very essential element of this fugue. Another point which makes this rule with this over prolonged double dots, dotted notes, is the problem when it comes. I will show it to you here when we have. When we have the counter subject here, and there is also a small comment, a comment from Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, who was actually talking exactly about this kind of thing, this kind of places, that this rule with the prolonged dotted note should be modified once there is another voice coming in, and so that they do not get into a conflict. Because generally the Baroque style was more in synchronizing the rhythms rather than getting the conflict between each other. So that's why also here in this wonderful, wonderful contrasting place from bar 9, I'm not playing because this is already, this brings so much. I don't know. It's not doesn't feel right because the movement. This for me is a kind of suddenly it's a procession. It's like I don't know some yeah, a kind of procession. So I think it doesn't feel right to me here. So I think this is what which also shows me that no rule can be followed everywhere. You cannot take it for granted everywhere. So you have to somehow, be aware of the sense of the phrase, that makes it also sometimes difficult to make the right choice, but also very exciting because you can try so many things out and finally also decide how you play these kind of things for your own. So now I'm very happy to perform for you the D major, sunny, glorious D major prelude from Book I by Johann Sebastian Bach. So that was the D major prelude and Fugue from Book I, Johann Sebastian Bach. Indeed a great, wonderful piece with a very proud, very special mood, and actually still within the Prelude and Fugue with a great contrast. So this is indeed again a proof that the creativity of Bach was really absolutely, I don't know, he had so many ideas how to just how to express himself, and this is it's so great, you see, because now already, what is that, fifth Prelude and Fugue, and if each piece which we have done, which we have discussed by now, was so different, different and so unique. So also the fugues, although the form is somehow one thinks it's the similar form, but they are also different. So the structure is also so different. So it is really great, and indeed, I'm very, very happy to go with this project and to share my personal my personal thoughts, what I discover in there, and also the parallels with other pieces which I am playing, which I am working on, and this also comes to the next topic, because Rachmaninoff, how I came to Rachmaninoff also for today's session. That's again, there are so many connections within the styles, and I think it's indeed very helpful for me also to study this piece, the Well-Tempered Clavier, this cycle, because it gives me so many ideas about other pieces which I'm working on now, and it is just, for me, sometimes now it feels like I'm really discovering things for me which make me just very happy. Thank you so much for your great comments about the D Major Prelude and Fugue. I'm very happy to share it with you. So Rachmaninoff. Well, I will explain you first. The thing is that at the moment I'm working on. I will be playing the second sonata by Rachmaninoff next year in several recital programs. I will play it in several tours, and it's scheduled. I wanted to perform it in my recital. So, however, there are two versions of the Rachmaninoff's second sonata. The first was composed, if I'm not mistaken, now in 1913, and it's basically, let's say, it's a larger version. It's more polyphonic. The pianistic style is much more thick, if I can put it this way. But finally, Rachmaninoff somehow was not very satisfied with this version, and he so he decided to revise it and made a second version of it, which is much shorter, and for me somehow some sections from the first version I miss them somehow, and that's why I have decided to make my own version of the sonata, according, of course, just my personal version of it, taking the first version as a base and making some adjustments to that. Of course, for me it's completely new type of work also, because I'm always not quite sure whether the composers would be happy about this kind of things. But I think that Rachmaninoff, he actually approved Horowitz's version of the second sonata. So for me, it somehow it gives me courage, you know. So yes, I'm working on this piece now, and the second sonata is indeed absolutely amazing piece, another amazing piece by Rachmaninoff. And of course this work on this style was somehow very keeping me busy, and I also wanted to of course to read a little bit more about Rachmaninoff. And what was so excited about, there are quite many interviews by him, or let's say some texts where he gives where he shares so many thoughts about music, about performing, about actually gives so many, I would even call it instructions for pianists and for interpretation and for all these kind of things. And this is really amazing to experience what Rachmaninoff himself was thinking about good performance, what he was, what a great interpretation meant to him, how he felt about performing music, about composing music. So it's really amazing that we have a chance to listen to him, to him playing piano, because for me personally, this is probably really the most outstanding artist I have ever heard in my life. Maki, this is something what I'm a little bit upset about, because I didn't find it in English version. I only found there are quite many, I think at least 12 texts which are available in Russian, but I didn't find them in English so far. But there are some mentions about one article. The name of it is The Interpretation Depends on the Talent and Personality. It is you can try to Google that. Interpretation depends on talent and personality, and this is really an amazing document, also with some advices for the musicians, for pianists especially. And for me it was really exciting, because also Rachmaninoff, of course, was talking a lot about Bach, because Bach was also a very important composer for him. He regularly played the Italian concerto. Of course, we have the Sarabanda from the fourth partita in the recording. Of course, we have the violin E major arrangement, and this is also what is known, that he played Italian concerto. He played also the Well-Tempered Clavier and all things like that in his recitals. And in this article I'm talking about, he also talks about how he feels that the Bach should be played. And this is really amazing, because of course he says that the polyphonic style is very important. And this is how, actually, once I have read this, I also felt this connection not connection, but the influence of generally, that his music, his piano music is so polyphonic. I mean, it's quite obvious, but once you really divide it in particular voices, this is really something that every line, well, that's what he's approximately saying, and I will try my best to translate it as good as I can. He's saying, of course, that every line, every voice in a piece should be led with great clarity. So it means that, of course, the subject, if it's a polyphonic piece, if it's a fugue, should be always be heard. But nevertheless, also the counterpoints, everything, counter subjects, every single voice should be led and practiced indeed also separately. And this, he also says that it takes a long time, also long training. And this is of course what, because I was thinking, what makes you because I read your comments also about the admiration for his recording. But what makes for you his recording so special? What is so amazing about his playing? Because for me, to be honest, it doesn't matter if he plays his own pieces or if it's Chopin or Debussy or Beethoven or Bach. I think his way of really leading voices, and I'm not talking about I'm not only talking about the main voice, the theme, the topic, but also about other voices. So for me, when I hear his playing, the sound is like 3D sound. It is it's full. It's not only melody and accompaniment, but it's it's a kind of orchestral sound with great clarity. Indeed, yes, Marco, the melody is very well heard, but I think the point is also that other voices are also, they're not just the difference is not only in the dynamics between the main voice and the other voices, but also that they have a perfect shape. And I was also in this D Major Prelude. I would be happy to share with you now. For me it was very really exciting to see, because the Prelude is actually it starts very simple. So we have a melody, and the accompaniment, right? But then afterwards we come to this section. So we have already the melody, which we know, the left hand, and this. So basically, the idea is that this voice has its own shape. It has its own phrasing as well. It's not only it's not just, I think it's just not playing it softer than the melody. And here, of course, the basement. But to be honest, it's then I really realized that once I practice is similar like Bach. So if I do really play with two hands, I hear it in a different way. It's not just that I'm busy with one line with the melody, and then but the ears, they hear finally. If I play this kind of line with two hands, the ears get used to a full sound, to a sound with two phrasings. And then once I play it with one hand, the hands of my fingers can follow what I hear, but for that I have to imagine, I have to this ideal sound in my mind. So now I will play this wonderful Prelude, Opus 23, for you, Sergei Rachmaninov. Sergei Rachmaninov, D Major Prelude, Opus 23, a wonderful, divine piece. Another D Major, somehow still very warm for me, really very beautiful. Hello, Pan Palechny, great to see you. Yes, it's I love this piece. It's really, really very, I don't know, it means a lot to me somehow. So, thank you so much for your great comments. I'm glad you liked it. Yes, so about still some words about Rachmaninoff. He also gives some advices to the to the performers about the how important it is to know the style, so that the sound in Beethoven should be a kind of different, comparing to Chopin's sound, for instance. And Chopin was his god. He loved Chopin very, very, very much. And of course, the amazing recordings of, for instance, of the second sonata, or what I particularly also really admires, the third ballad. It is really, yeah, I mean, his sound, his ability to yeah, it's for me it's like laser, because when I hear his piano sound, it's this kind of golden sound. It's really I feel like my heart is moving. So it is really I don't know. I think it's so what I also found so interesting, because he's also talking about interpretations, about good interpretations, and how interpretation generally can be, how he also thinks one should work on interpretation. And this was actually very very interesting to me, because his idea was, first of all, of course, that every pianist should have a kind of course, also through the teachers which one has, and also through the education as a pianist, that you have this background, you have this basement of course of knowledge of music, knowledge of also of course technique, how you play piano, how you move your fingers. Oh, hello to Armenia. Great. So this is a kind of basement. But what happens after that? What happens when the student, he's talking about students a lot, is leaving his professor, is leaving the conservatory, the university? What happens then? And that's where it becomes for me very interesting, because Rachmaninoff is actually suggesting that that's why the article I'm talking about is also called the interpretation depends on talent and personality, is that actually it's the interpretation indeed, or the work on the interpretation and the development of performer is actually coming mostly from the development of the personality. And that for him, that if music comes from the heart, that is the criteria, because if it comes from the heart, it's true, and this makes the interpretation unique. What do you think, for you personally, what makes for you the interpretation memorable? What makes it special? Why maybe you remember one particular interpretation of a masterpiece for a long time, and another performance of the same masterpiece maybe will not remain in your memory or in your feeling for such a long time. I think that for me personally, when I hear an interpretation, or what makes an interpretation for me, is I also think that the music is a kind of mirror of the performer's soul, of the soul of the person who is playing this music. So the what I'm always very sensitive about is the real honest, so that the performer is honest. So this is the first thing which somehow, and I think that for me that's also how I feel, understand Rachmaninoff words about this feeling, if the interpretation is coming from your heart. Interesting. Sound world and conviction of vision, right? Because sound world, of course, that's what we hear. So that's also what we actually sense. I mean, and of course, the quality of sound, or the way the sound is, or the quality. The quality, not in sense of how you touch the piano, but the sound which is like a creation. I think this is really, it makes a big difference. Jakub is saying passion. Absolutely right. I feel that absolutely that way, that once you hear some it's your me as a listener, I need to feel kind of reverberation with what is happening on stage, and passion is of course also very it's a feeling which I can take over from the performer. The soul is the music, Marco is saying, that's the music and nothing else. I couldn't agree more, because it's, as I can only repeat myself, music is the mirror, and it doesn't accept any lies, it doesn't accept any something not honest, I think. So for me, it's also the soul, which is, you give, also performing music, you give a part of your soul to the audience. You share it with the listeners, and I think this is also something really special. Dario, now I see, yes, exactly. The Horowitz Rachmaninoff Second Sonata is a good example of memorable interpretation. Absolutely. But what is, that's interesting thing. What makes this, especially this performance of the Second Sonata, special? Why? What is it? Is it the spirit? Is it his technical ability, or it's his personality? So there are so many questions about what is a good interpretation, and it's, to be honest, I'm thinking about that by myself as well, because I think it's just not easy to describe it, but I think he breaks the string. Wow. Well, yes. Exactly, it touches the soul. I think it's a right description. But why? How he managed to touch the soul? What is he doing with this music? And that it touches us literally. It's really what I would really be happy to put it in words. Also for myself, it's really would be really interesting to me. Ryan is saying, yes, the vital part also to understanding the music of the program. Absolutely right. Jeff is saying music starts where words finish. Yes, because music is something very abstract in a way. It doesn't have, as I was saying earlier today, it doesn't have any real links. It's just actually the imagination, the fantasy, which we all have as listeners and as performers. Hearing the music before touching the keyboard, Marco. Yes, as a performer for sure, because once the fingers are just doing what my ears and what my soul is prepared for, but my fingers would not move well, they would move, but it would not make so much sense if that would happen without any connection with the yes, with the soul, with the inner hearing as well. And Hiroko, not self-indulgent but playing for the audience. Right, I think it's making music in general, it's always about sharing music with other people. It's sharing music with the audience, sharing music with other musicians on stage, or with the listeners in the concert hall. And it's always it's not only that the performer gives something to the audience and every single listener always gives something back. And this is really what makes, for me, the live concert, the concert in a concert hall with the audience. It doesn't matter if it's one person or it's many thousands in the hall. It's always a sharing. It's always connecting. It's always an interaction with the people, with the listeners. And this is an experience where it lives in this connection between the performer and the audience. So yes, I think it is actually very interesting conversation to me. Yes, and the point about Daniel about being honest is, of course, for me very true. And this is why I also admire Rachmaninoff recordings, because for me they are indeed very, very honest. Oli, hello, nice to see you. Yes. It's so great to have you all here. It's a great pleasure, and I would be very happy to continue also this interpretation topic, because for me it's it keeps me busy, this with this this meaning of interpretation. So see you next week. Next week we go to D minor, to more dark tonality. And yes, I wish you all a good week. So please keep well, and see you very, very soon. Thanks a lot for being here. Bye. Bye-bye.